Finally, YouTube is releasing its test and compare thumbnail tool to all creators, only if you have this setting activated. So in this video, we're gonna make sure that you are eligible to have access to this tool. Then we're going to talk about exactly how this tool works, what metrics is it caring about analyzing, and how is it sending out all these thumbnail tests to your audience. And then at the end, the one part you do not want to miss in this video, you want to stay to the end, is how some of the top YouTubers are already using this tool and how you could take their strategy and use it for your channel. Do you have access to this tool? The way to check is you can go to a public video on your channel or upload a video if you so desire, and go to where you would upload a thumbnail. You can click the three dots and then you can see if test compare is there, or if it's a new video, it should be one of the options already laid out in the interface. And if you see it, you're Gucci, you're ready to go and start testing thumbnails. But if you don't see it yet, fret not. You might get access in the next couple days or weeks, or you're gonna make sure that this setting is turned on. So in YouTube Studio, you're gonna go to settings, go to the channel, and you'll see something called feature eligibility. In feature eligibility, there's three categories. There's going to be standard, intermediate, and advanced. If advanced is not eligible, if it's not turned on, you will not receive this tool. So you want to make sure that you turn that into being eligible, and then you will get this tool in the upcoming weeks. Now, how exactly does this tool work? It says winner, preferred, it's running 3, there's tests, what metrics is it looking for? Fret not, we're gonna walk through it and make it real simple. First and foremost, you're able to upload 3 thumbnails, up to 3 thumbnails, and I'd recommend doing so, by the way. There's really no reason not to. And once you do so, YouTube will be serving it up equally to your audience, analyzing this metric in particular, not click-through rate, but watch time share. Once again, emphatically stating what YouTube cares about is 2 things. You'll hear me preach this on this channel to the day I die. It is consumption and satisfaction. Watch time share, much more important than a high click-through rate. Now, how can you see the results of this test? How long does it run? These are all fair questions. So how long does this test exactly run? It's up to 2 weeks, but it can run quicker. What makes this test run quicker? Well, it's actually how dramatically different are the 3 thumbnails that you are testing. If one is you kicking a soccer ball, and the other one is you in the goal net, and the other one is you sitting on your couch playing video games, it's gonna quickly probably run that test because they're so dramatically different. The more nuanced the differences get, like color of a shirt or smiling, not smiling, the longer the test will most likely take. Now, you can see the test results at any time. You can go into your public video that's running a test, see test results, and it will show you the current percentages of how and which one is performing and which one is outperforming in the watch time share competition, if you will. At any point, you can set a thumbnail as your declared winner, even if it's not the one doing the most watch time share consumption. I'm not entirely sure why you would do that, but you can. Now, YouTube will declare a winner automatically if you do nothing. So the one that statistically brings in the most watch time share consumption will be declared the thumbnail winner and be set as the primary thumbnail. And it will let you know that it did, and it will show you the results. Sometimes you don't get enough statistical indication, so it will show you a preferred thumbnail, the one that slightly overperformed but didn't reach that threshold that YouTube uses to declare winner. So that will become your thumbnail. Once again, you can set the thumbnail to be whatever you want, but YouTube will do this automatically as well. Now, what if you want to run a new test? How exactly does that work? So you can run a new test at any point, even before winner is declared or preferred is declared. But when you do, it will delete the results that you had prior. So just a pro tip here, as a strategist of YouTube, screen grab the current test results before you run that new test, so you have a general idea of how things were performing, and you can catalog the improvements that you've made along the way. You can run many new tests, but there is, at the end of this video, a pro way that top YouTubers are already utilizing this tool. So how are top YouTubers already utilizing this tool? As you know, and as with creators and brands that I've been working with, some have had access to this tool for like over a year, and they've come up with some best practices to consider. And one that I want to know from the get-go is you're actually testing for different types of audiences along the way. In that first 72 hours, it's really your core audience. So as you're doing those thumbnail adjustments, you're gonna really learn about that return and subscribed audience's preferences and what they like to click through, and then ultimately not just click through, but watch with significant consumption. Secondly, after that 72 hours, you're really reaching that casual audience, ones that don't necessarily care about you, your face, or even your content, but maybe the type of video that you've done. You're gonna reach them as well. This doesn't mean you'd go to a completely different strategy. Potentially, if you go to a tool like ViewStats Pro, you'll see that Mr. Beast has done 10, 12 tests, and maybe you can see that distinction after 72 hours. He switches to a different type of thumbnail because he maybe understands what reaches the casual audience better than the core audience that he's built on his channel. Once again, this will take time, by the way. This might not be what you do for your first video. You might start with something a little bit more practical, but as you learn and create those audience avatars, you're gonna have a better idea of what adjustments you want to make at what time intervals. And this goes to the final area. So you have your core, your casual, and then evergreen. Some of your videos, like an educational video, might be made for evergreen searchable opportunity. So maybe weeks after, months after, perhaps some old videos on your channel, you give them a refresh just based off how thumbnails do change and what kind of thumbnails that we prefer. Maybe you've gotten better at Photoshop and we're giving them a glam up. But just note that when you do it on evergreen content, the impressionable opportunity of being served up is not going to be as dramatic as a new public upload. Another pro tip that YouTubers are already utilizing is, as it's been mentioned by YouTube, are now more emphatically, big swings and then get minutiae and drilled down into really nitty-gritty details. So what I mean by big swings is, one is you jumping a shark, the other is you smashing into a building, and the other is you diving off an airplane. All very dramatically different examples, and somehow maybe it fits into this crazy epic video. But the reason you're doing that is because it runs those tests a lot quicker. And then as you get that, you're like, okay, people really like the jumping the shark. Okay, so then, and now it's not just jumping a shark, it's jumping a whale, jumping, a sea dragon. And then you realize, okay, they actually really like the sea dragon, something about that mythical. And then after that one, you get a little bit more to, well, now the sea dragon is red, and that sea dragon is yellow, and this sea dragon is green. And then your adjusted color. See, you went from a very wide set to getting more specific, to eventually getting to nitty gritty, which is where those tests tend to take longer. You might not get as much of a clear winner, but top YouTubers are doing this and analyzing the most minute details. Now, as I mentioned, you might open the gates back up when it gets to that casual audience after 72 hours, but that's as you do this and learn. And that brings me to my third pro tip, is to be curious and be patient. And what I mean by that is not everything's going to give you a really clear takeaway. Or for example, you can't always have a sea dragon on your thumbnail. So maybe they really like the sea dragon, but that's not always going to be possible. So as you're curating results and learning and gleaning information, just continue to be curious, knowing that you're not going to find that secret formula right away or potentially ever, but you are going to learn a lot about your audience. And that brings me to the final and ultimate tip, is know your audience is critical to succeeding on YouTube. And I know that sounds like a crochet pillow, throwaway term, nebulous. Every YouTuber says it, but it's true. And I argue that most people haven't created audience avatars. They don't truly understand why people are clicking, the psychology of why they've clicked. This is a way for you to understand that. You might learn that your face in a certain emotion really does engage the audience in a way that you didn't understand before. So learn your audience and take note of it. Don't just learn and make mental notes. Take note, curate that data to best enable you to make the best content possible. Guys, I couldn't be more excited about the thumbnail tool. I think it's going to only elevate the way we're creating, helping you understand your audience, and then also finding that formula that really jives for your channel to make sure it gets clicks and watch time share consumption. Hopefully you got it. Let me know if you got it in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, happy creating, everyone.